Yo, what up, y'all? It's Middleman TV in the building, and today we got to talk about a lot of these boxing topics, man. There's a lot of boxing topics to talk about, but really, I want to talk about last week's fight for the last time, and then we're gonna put last week's show to bed, man. We're gonna put last week's show to bed, but I had to come on here and talk about it, so we're gonna talk about it. Obviously, last week in Queens, New York, y'all know the title eliminator fight in the super middleweight division. We had Edgar Berlanga versus hamraz sheeraz. You know what I'm saying? Now, going into the fight, we all thought it was going to be a 50-50 fight. Edgar Berlanga being calling himself the king of New York, wearing all this jewelry, giving himself this big old hype that he had around himself for years. And he had to be able to back that up, man. And he was going against hamraz sheeraz, who, no one really knew him in New York, doesn't really have a big name. And let's just get cut right to the chase. So Berlanga gets knocked out in round 5. He gets stopped. And now you fast forward a week later, him, his girl, and his team are basically not Berlanga per se. Berlanga took the loss on the chin, and he's basically taking the loss well. But his girl is going out on social media and pretty much saying like, "Hey, after the fight, hamraz sheeraz took off his right glove and took off his right hand wrap, and then he took off his left glove, but he left his left hand wrap on." And then, she then later posted a picture of when hamraz sheeraz fought Ammo Williams. And when hamraz sheeraz fought Ammo Williams, he did the same thing. He took the right glove off, took the right hand wrap off, took the left glove off, and left the left hand wrap on. Now, they do say in the commission rules that you're supposed to take both hand wraps off. That being said, I'm not going to question this too much. Like, I don't want to question this too much, man. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Like, if we're going to question hamraz sheeraz's win, then we can arguably question any win in boxing. We can arguably question any win in boxing. Are we going to question every single win Canelo Alvarez has ever had? We have in our faces, not pictures, not, oh, it seems like cheating. We have actual evidence that Canelo Alvarez has cheated, and yet he's the most popular boxer in boxing. So boxing fans are biased. They pick and choose who they want to call cheaters and who they want to point fingers at, and they stay silent for the other people. So I really don't want to go down this road. Let's just put the cheating to bed, because y'all like to pick and choose the fighters y'all like to call cheaters. When Canelo cheats, y'all excuse it. So we're not about to do this for hamraz sheeraz. Plus, there's no real proof that hamraz sheeraz cheated. Okay. Um. Now listen, we got to talk about Edgar Berlanga. We got to talk about the real problem at hand, which is Edgar Berlanga. I was watching this video of Sean Porter, and I forget who the other guest was, and they were asking. He asked Sean Porter, when did Edgar Berlanga start to decline? And Sean Porter was saying like, oh, it was during the Canelo fight. Like, no, Sean, y'all must have not been watching Edgar Berlanga as much as I've been, or as long and as hard and as critiqueful as I've been watching Edgar Berlanga. I've been watching Edgar Berlanga since 2021, when they first put that hype around him. He was getting 14, 15 straight knockouts in a row in the first round, and they were putting all this hype on Edgar Berlanga. So I'm like, all right, let me see what this dude is about. The first time he got exposed was against Marcelo Corceres. Marcelo Caceres was in the pocket with Berlanga. Berlanga was having a hard time cutting off the ring. And Marcelo Caceres, I believe it was in round 9, caught Berlanga on the chin, dropped him, and Berlanga was hitting his gloves like he always does. And that was when we all knew that, man, maybe Berlanga's a little bit chinny. And then I saw him in his next fight. He fought this dude named Steve Rose, a boxer mover. And he could not cut off the ring to save his life. Like, Edgar Berlanga was struggling so bad in that fight. The announcers were on his ass the entire time. And Steve Rose was starting to gain momentum as the rounds progressed. And Edgar Berlanga just looked horrible. I remember Top Rank dropped him the fight after that against Romero Angulo. That was his last fight with Top Rank. And then Eddie Hearn picked him up. Okay? And then Eddie Hearn put him in there with two bum European fighters. And I mean bums, Quigley and McCrory. And remind you, as Quigley is, Demetrius Andrade got him out of there in 2 rounds. Edgar Berlanga knocked the guy down 5 times, and the guy still stood up, still was right there with Berlanga, and was winning rounds with Berlanga. It's just Berlanga ended up winning a long landslide decision because he knocked the guy down like 6 times in the fight. But it was a relatively close fight, other than the knockdowns. Like Berlanga's not good. He can't cut off the ring. He actually showed a decent jab against sheeraz, but that's not his game. So I didn't even understand why he did that. And like just overall, I've always said that Berlanga, he got lucky. He got a little bit of hype. He got signed by Top Rank. And then, Eddie Hearn picked him up. And then he got the lucky fight with Canelo Alvarez. And then he didn't take lessons from the Canelo Alvarez loss, in my opinion. Instead of, all right, Canelo schooled me. I only won 1 or 2 rounds. Let me go in my toolbox. Let me go work on my craft. And let me go become great. He didn't do that. Instead, he went to Puerto Rico. He went on a losing celebration tour. Never seen anything like it. Talking about he deserves the Canelo rematch. Everybody on the planet's asking for this rematch, which is not true. And then he found himself in a situation where, all right, you're hyping yourself up. You claim you deserve this Canelo rematch. Well, Turkey al-Sheikh, being in the game of boxing, is going to put your money where your mouth is. So he puts you right in a fight with his a fighter that he loves, which is Hamraz Sheeraz, and he puts y'all both in position in a title eliminator fight. No complaints, it's in your hometown, and what happens? You get knocked out, you get stopped, humiliated, and pretty much outclassed in your hometown, man. Now we can make the excuses of the cheating. We can cut to the real chase here and say that Edgar Berlanga fought 16 tomato cans in his career. He then moved up to fight Marcelo Caceres and Steve Rolls. Not tomato cans, but fighters that I would say, when you fight guys like Steve Rolls and Marcelo Caceres, you got to prove that you're at that elite level, so you dominate guys like that. You convincingly win. He didn't do that. He squeezed by with Steve Rolls. He squeezed by with Marcelo Caceres. And when you squeeze, by the way, we got 3 viewers in the building. Hit that fucking like button. You hear what I'm saying? But when you are in a competitive close fights with Marcelo Caceres, and you're in competitive close fights with Steve Rolls, we know what you're about, man. We know what you're about. We got 7 viewers in the building. Hit that fucking like button, man, especially if y'all agree with me about Edgar Berlanga, man. A lot of people are saying that Edgar Berlanga, the Canelo fight, he wasn't focused. What's up, Kobe, man? Hey. What's up, Kobe? Hold on, let me see if I could get y'all. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Okay, my boy Kobe Wilkerson. Got his comment up. What up, Kobe? Yeah, man, we got to talk about this Berlanga thing, man. I just can't believe him and his team are running around with all these excuses, and it's just disturbing to me, man. That you talk all this smack, you call what he called sheeraz? He called him a dick eater. Excuse my language. They probably gonna report me for that later, but and then he throws the panties. He throws the wig at Oscar. Mind you, I'm not an Oscar fan. I think Oscar's a cheap promoter. I think Oscar, doesn't treat his fighters well. But at the end of the day, Oscar was one hell of a fighter. One of the best fighters I've ever watched in my lifetime. Definitely. Edgar Berlanga can't even breathe in the same room as Oscar as a fighter. So for him to be doing all these antics, thinking that it was funny, real boxing fans are paying attention to that. Like, bro, you've done nothing. Like, you're wearing these big old chains. Like you're like you're the WBC and you're the IBF champion of the world. Like you're a 2-division champion. Shakur Stevenson can walk around with the chains. Shakur Stevenson can talk smack to Oscar Berlanga. I was just talking about this with my friend. Now, y'all leave y'all comments in the comment section. Let me know if y'all think I'm overdoing it. We were just talking about the super middleweight division and who Edgar Berlanga can truly beat when you talk about elite guys. He will not beat Caleb Plant. I don't even want to talk about Caleb Plant. He will not beat Caleb Plant. He will not beat Diego Pacheco. Honestly, do you guys even think he'll beat Steve Nelson? Will he even beat a Trevor McCumbee? I'm seriously asking this. I would favor Edgar Berlanga versus Trevor McCumbee, But McCombie has power. Let's not forget, McCombie dropped Caleb Plant before he got hurt and stopped. I think Caleb Plant's a better boxer than Edgar Berlanga. So am I crazy to think that Trevor McCombie and Steve Nelson have a chance of beating Edgar Berlanga? So who can Edgar Berlanga really beat? Like I said, he only won by 2 points against Caceres. He only won by 2 points against Steve Rose. So I'm not crazy to think that Steve Nelson can beat him on points. I'm not crazy to think maybe Trevor McCombie has enough power to hurt him or beat him on points. We're asking for these Charlo fights for Berlanga. We're asking for these Caleb Plant fights. We're asking for these Diego Pacheco fights. But I think Edgar Berlanga's a step below all these guys, man. And, like, I'm not trying to disrespect Edgar Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he obviously, he's got a beautiful girl. He got lucky that Top Rank had their eye on him because of his power, and he was able to make something of his career. I think he was a guy that was manufactured. I really think that Edgar Berlanga was manufactured. He was given easy opponents, a guy that does have power, but as soon as he was put in there with guys who are real fighters, he couldn't make the proper adjustments to show who he was. And to me, that's where Edgar Berlanga is right now, man. I'm genuinely concerned where he's going to go from here, what he's going to do next in his career, because there's a lot of questions to be asked. And when you portray the chains, the king of New York, oh, I'm a gangster, you're a sausage, and then you get knocked out in your hometown, Edgar, you're not a gangster. And where do you go from here, man? I'm praying that you take the humble approach from here on out, so that way, if you do lose to Steve Nelson, if you do lose to Diego Pacheco, if you do lose to Trevor McCombie, at least we won't make fun of you for it because you took the humble approach on the situation, okay? Make sure y'all hit that damn like button before y'all go, man. We had 7 viewers in here. I better have 5 to 7 likes. Now, before I get off here, I want to come on here. Now, we're going to change the subject. I'm praying for you, Edgar Berlanga, and I'm hoping that, you make a speedy recovery. What Edgar Berlanga needs to do is take 2 or 3 tune-up fights, 2, 3 easy fights, and then we can start talking about the Steve Nelsons. Then we can start talking about the Caleb Plants. Then we can start talking about the Trevor McCombies. But I recommend a couple tune-up fights. Do not jump into the Lion's Den with some of the top 68s. That could be your ass, Edgar Berlanga. Now we're going to switch in topics. We're going to talk about the Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk fight before I get on out of here. Because I got to get on out of here. I got some business to take care of. And I will hop on later. I will be making a video later tonight. But, when I first came on here, I said, man, Daniel Dubois got a real chance, man. He's got that power. He's coming off momentum. He beat Hrgovic. He beat, Jarrell Miller. He beat Joshua. I think sky's the limit for Dubois. Coming off the momentum. He's wanted this fight. He's talked about this fight. He's put it into existence for about 9-10 months now. And now he's getting the fight that he's been calling for. But Usyk is just as confident as Dubois, man. Now, originally when I thought about this fight, I'm like, I won 3 bets in a row. I've won 3 money fights in a row on Dubois. So, of course, my heart and my money, I want to put it on Dubois. And I'm probably going to put $20 on Dubois for the hell of it. But I want to remind y'all, now, obviously, I thought that body shot was a knockdown. I thought that was a legitimate knockdown, and they cheated Dubois. That being said, Usyk, when he finally got up and recovered, now he was on the ground for about 5 to 10 minutes, so he should have been counted out, whatever. We move on. He got up, he recovered beautifully, and remember, he made Dubois later quit to a jab. Now, I hope Dubois made the proper adjustments necessary to hurt Dubois early and to jump on him early. Now, I'm not saying Dubois can't box, but you're not going to outbox Usyk. So your way of beating Usyk is to hurt him. Because if you don't hurt him by like round 5, round 6, I'm going to start to have that feeling that Usyk's going to box circles around you. He's going to stop you late because he's going to outsmart Dubois. He's a smarter fighter than Dubois. So the longer the fight goes on, the more I start to favor Alexander Usyk. I told my British friend the other day that I really favor Dubois, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm real nervous for Daniel Dubois, man. I think Alexander Usyk is just a smart fighter, and watching the face-off and seeing how confident Usyk is, and when they asked, they were like, Yo, Alexander Usyk, is Daniel. And they asked Daniel Dubois. They asked Alexander Usyk, is Daniel Dubois the toughest, hardest puncher you ever been in the ring with? And he said, no, no. I've never seen a fighter say it like, no. And Edgar, take advice, take notes from Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk. And don't talk no smack. So guess what? If Usyk gets knocked out, I'm not gonna make fun of him. If Daniel Dubois gets knocked out, I'm not gonna make fun of him. You know why? Because they don't put themselves in positions to get made fun of, Edgar. All right, y'all. I'm gone. 15 minutes. Had to come on live. Had to talk about the Edgar Berlanga and the excuses. Let me know what y'all think about the excuses. I don't rock with excuses. And let me know what y'all think about the Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk fight. Who do y'all got? Leave y'all comments in the comment section. Leave y'all predictions in the comment section. Who's going to win? Will we have a new undisputed champion in Daniel Dubois? Or will Alexander Usyk prove that he is a top dog and always will be a pound-for-pound fighter in the game? All right, y'all. I'm gone. Leave y'all comments in the comment section. Hit that like button. I'm gone. Peace.